let's talk about how to stop feeling overwhelmed and stressed. What is up, my fellow goal getter? My name is Zach. Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here and you want the best tips on how to dominate your goals, hit the subscribe button, tap the bell notifications. That way you don't miss anything. And we're getting started right now.
Yeah, we some goal getters.
We're getting started right now.
We some goal getters. Yeah, we out here.
All right, the only reason why we feel overwhelmed is just a couple of things, and you can completely eliminate it. You don't ever have to feel overwhelmed again if you follow this simple step process. First, you have a lot of reasons we feel overwhelmed because we have all these different goals that we achieve and a lot of daunting, big, crazy goals, and we just don't even know where to get started. We got so many stuff going on that we got to do, and there's so many big ones that we just don't know where to get started on those specific goals. So the key is to take those crazy big goals that excite you and that you really want to accomplish and break them all the way down into the very next step that you can take. Ask yourself, like, what is the next step that I can take that'll bring me closer to this goal? Ask it with emotional intensity. Ask yourself, like, what is the next thing that I can do right now that'll get me closer to it? And when you have that, that's where you can start taking action. Because if you fail to do this, you'll probably still be overwhelmed. If you're still overwhelmed when you're trying to face a big goal, it's because you didn't break it down far enough. You got to keep breaking it down. Like, take it, if you break it all the way down, ask yourself, is there something else that I could do before this that'll get me there? You know, you got to ask yourself these questions because those are empowering questions. And when you ask yourself a question, your brain immediately searches for an answer. Wouldn't you agree? You answered that question, whether you said yes or no, it just happens. So ask yourself, what is the next best thing, and break it all the way down to the very next actionable step that you can take. All right, so that solves that. You know, when you get those crazy big goals, you can break them all the way down to the next steps. But what about when you have a whole bunch of different things going on? When you got, I got to do this with the wife, I got to do this with the kids, I got to do this with the business, I got to do this with the business, and this with the business, and I got to do this with the, you got a bunch of different things that you need to take care of, and you feel overwhelmed. And you're like, I just don't have enough time to do all this. So the key in this situation is obviously, yes, you break the goals down all the way to the next steps with everything, always do it with every single goal, but then when you have a whole bunch of things going on, prioritize. And how do we prioritize? The best way I found to do that is with the 80-20 rule, where we take the 20% of the activities that give us the 80% of the return. Focus on those things. All the other 80% of the activities we can get around to eventually, but we need to take care of the big fish in the pond. You know what I mean? So what are the things that will give you, that you have the 20% of activities that will give you the 80% of the return? Focus on those things first. Prioritize. Make a list and prioritize it in order and knock it out one by one by one. And don't worry about all the things that you have on that list. Focus on just the one thing at a time, because multitasking is horrible. There's studies proving that it just doesn't work. There's not even no such thing as multitasking. It's called task switching. We just switch our focus really fast. Multitasking decreases effectiveness and efficiency. It actually takes more time multitasking. So just focus on one thing, that one thing at the top of your list, knock it out, get the next thing done. And that's going to help you eliminate feeling overwhelmed. And my final tip, this is a good one. So when you have that huge list, and like you might be thinking like, okay, cool, I've broken my goals all the way down, and I isolated what really needs to get done, the 80-20 rule. But what about these other 80% activities that, even though they don't give me the greatest return, but I still need to get them done? Time, we only get 24 hours a day. There's everybody, we're all equal there. There's no way that we can get more time. However, you can become more efficient with your goals and get them done faster. Here's the key: by using the Parkinson rule. And what that is a lot of times we give ourselves bigger deadlines, like, all right, I'm gonna need this much time to get it done. And what happens? When you have more time to do something, what happens? We put it off. We don't get it done until the last minute. Anytime you're in school and you got a homework assignment and you didn't have to do, it wasn't due until next week, you probably didn't go home right away and knock it out. More than likely, you might have, but it probably got put off to the last minute and then you did it. Well, in human nature, we tend to procrastinate and put things off until they need to get done. We tend to focus on things that are urgent. So if you take those deadlines and make them shorter for yourself, give yourself a small deadline to get things done, not only will you get it done faster, you will be more effective because you will knock it out, and you're acting with urgency, and your brain just works better that way. And when you do this, you'll get more things done. You'll be able to knock out those other tasks. So implement those 3 tips, and I promise you, your productivity, your effectiveness, and efficiency will skyrocket. If you enjoyed this video, and or if you haven't downloaded my free Goal Getter cheat sheet yet, head on over and download it now for free. This is a process that I developed after years of blood, sweat, and tears, trial and error, figuring out what did and didn't work. I compiled a simple 6-step process of effective goal achievement that I use over and over again. Just run through the 6 steps, rinse and repeat over and over again to dominate my goals. I took out all the trial and error for you, so you don't have to spend all that time and pain and frustration trying to figure it out for yourself. But the key is, don't just read it, because that's not going to do anything for you. You have to apply application of the steps. And when you do that, you'll see how awesome and how much more dominant you are with dominating your goals. So right on, I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, hit the subscribe button, tap the bell notifications. That way you don't miss anything. And as always, thanks for watching, my winning friend. I will see you next time.
Yeah, we some go getters.
We're getting started right now.
We some go getters.